What's good, everybody? It's Came in back with my tea of the day. Welcome to season 3, episode 20 dose. And thank you for riding for me for this long. We're at 9.3 plays, only on Anchor and everywhere else y'all are listening to. Thank y'all. And let's get into it. As it being February, it's time for us to get into some Black history. It's time for us to get into some inventors, some prominent Black individuals that really shaped the nation. There's so many to go through, but I picked 3 for us to digest and dive into today. The first person is Mr. Garrett Morgan. He was born in 1877, and he unfortunately passed away in 1963. He was born in Paris, Kentucky. He was an inventor. So some of his inventions was a improved sewing machine, a traffic signal, hair straightening products, and a respiratory device that became the blueprint for gas masks used in World War I. And he only had an elementary school education. So he did all of this with just a elementary school education. So think of as many things that we can do that they say we need a degree for. We can still do it. We can still go for it. It's all about consistency and keeping the pressure on at all times. So in 1909, the sewing machine. In 1914, the breathing device, or a safety hood, as a lot of people called it. So that was providing a safer breathing experience. So he won first prize at the second International Expose of Safety and Sanitation in New York City. He hired a white actor to pose as the inventor so people can buy into the safety hood. He played the sidekick, the big, quote unquote, the big Chief Manson. So oftentimes, as you know, especially back then when racism was prominent, you have all these great ideas, you have all of this great information, but from you, they're not listening to it from. But if a white person says it, they're going to buy into it, even though it's the same thing that you said, several different ways, the same invention that you created. But if a white quote-unquote person creates it, it's going to garner all of this acknowledgement, everyone's going to want to use it. So he played the game, he had to. And when he did that, when he hired the white actor to act like he invented this safety hood, then everyone wanted to buy into it, everyone wanted to use it. Because at first we were trying to chop it to, of course, the fire stations, of course, the police force, many different areas that would need something like this before World War II even happened, before World War I even happened, that would have been beneficial for, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. And it only picked up until there was a white face in front of it. In 1916, in the city of Cleveland, there was a new tunnel under Water Lake Brook, and him and his brother went there and saved 2 lives and was not credited for that because they was Black. So they heard what happened in Lake Erie with the tunnel breaking, and they were able to save 2 lives. Unfortunately, some of them didn't make it out, and it was not credited for that until he passed away because it was Black. They didn't want to admit that a Black person saved a white person's lives back then. First African American in Cleveland to have a car. That's a fun fact. 1923, traffic signal. One with a warning light to alert drivers that they would need to stop. So before that, you can imagine how many accidents and stuff like that was happening back then. The next person I want to dive into is Granville T. Woods. He was born in 1856. He died in 1912. He was like the Black Edison. We all know who Thomas Edison is, right? So he was like the Black Edison. So, developed electrical apparatus, registered 60 patents in his lifetime. So, telephone transmitter, trolley wheel, multiplex telegraph, over which he defeated a lawsuit by Thomas Edison. These are some of the things that he invented, that he worked on throughout his lifetime. So in 1878, picture this. A Dr. Telegraph was created. In 1889, built his own company. First patent was an improved steam boiler furnace. So he helped improve our heating system. Because you can imagine back then, them not getting heat and how cold it be during the winter months. Second invention is telephone transmitter. So now we're able to fully talk to each other over the phone, over the landlines. Perfect. We all use that. Alexander Graham Bell bought the combined telephone and telegraph patent. The troller, a grooved metal wheel that was above the street, later known as trolleys, to collect electric power from above head wires. So especially like in Cali, like all of those places that have like the outside trolleys, but then you can think of like New York City, where we have the inside, mostly internal trains. And he helped with that electricity process. In 1887, introduction telegraph or block system. Device allowed men to communicate by voice over telegraph wires, ultimately helping to speed up important communication, and subsequently preventing crucial errors such as train accidents. So this helped less train accidents throughout that time. 1901, power pickup device. Third wheel used in transit systems today. 1902 to 1905 received patents for a improved air brake system. Invented 15 appliances for electric railways. A final person is James Baldwin, a writer and a social critique. 1955, collection of essays entitled Notes of a Native Son. In 1956, novel Giovanni's Room, which depicts themes of homosexuality and bisexuality. American men who began an affair with a person he met at the bar. Fun fact is, he used all white characters because he didn't want to depict a black person being gay, because for whatever reason that triggers a lot of people. So that's like a intersectionality. I mean, black and gay. So he didn't want to confuse the two or merge the two, even though it's merged already. But at the time, he didn't want to merge the two. So intersectionality is a analytical framework for understanding how aspects of a person's social and political identity combine to create different modes of discrimination and privilege. Identities multiple factors of advantages and disadvantages. So in intersexuality, there are pros and cons of everything, and it's just meeting in the middle, like being a black gay man for one, or being a black woman, or just being a woman, or just being a man. It's just different sectors of the whole pie. In 1963, Martin Washington for jobs and freedom, and the 1965 Salem to Montego, yeah, the March of Salem with Martin Luther King Voting Rights March, and notable lecture was racism, and the gay community. Now let's get into how important the black dollar is. The black dollar, if we really look at the inventions and what we invented and how important we are to the culture, to the world, we will really stop allowing the disrespect to continuously happen. And I know we was raised and brought up in slavery. It's enrooted in us, but it's enrooted in us, and we went through that experience to understand how powerful we are, to understand how threatened they are of us. Because us being black is a threat. We are always supposedly the aggressor in any situation. And it's fucked up because it's not true. The story that they tell of us is definitely not the story that we live in. So hopefully they understand and they begin to get a new narrative, because it doesn't add up. What they see and who we are does not add up. But we have to become okay with it, because they don't know any better. And they don't want to lose their quote-unquote power. They don't want to lose their quote-unquote their white privilege that we've allowed. And we need to stop allowing that white privilege to succeed and to oversee our power and our greatness and our abundance of amazingness that we have. Our brains and beauty is beyond powerful. Just our names in general, our statement, our features, our blackness, our melanin is so important. And it's so needed, and it's just amazing. So don't ever let anyone dim your light. I want to get into the disrespect of the black woman and how society allows that to continue to happen. They're just supposed to shut up and be quiet. They're just supposed to be okay with getting what they get. They're just supposed to be okay with being raped, being provoked, being sexualized, and being told what to wear and how to look. Like, who the fuck are you? Who are you to tell anyone, especially a black woman, how to wear their hair, what their body type should be, how they should look? If you don't look a certain type of way, you're automatically ugly. If you look too dark, you're ugly. No, there is beautiful black women, purple women. And it's sad because a lot of times they don't see themselves represented. So they automatically feel like they're ugly. Black is beautiful. And black woman is the forefront of the black family. Black women are so fucking powerful, but they don't understand the power because they've been conditioned to be less than. They've been conditioned to feel like they don't belong, they don't deserve, they're not important. They're not part of the conversation. They're at the end of the story. No. We as a nation need to lift up everyone. And we need to lift up the black woman. We need to support the black woman. We need to be behind her. The stories that she tells, the elegance that she has, the smarts that she has. She don't need the black man to raise a household, ultimately. But both of the man and the black man and the black woman in the household is so powerful together. We can no longer disrespect the black woman. Like, we can't allow that anymore. So when you see a black woman being disrespected and us as black men disrespecting them, calling them out their name, calling them hoes, calling them bitches, calling them sluts, body shaming them for being a sexual being. Her honing into her sexuality should not offend you. It should not belittle you. It should not make you feel unimportant. By her treating you like a nigga, because that's how every black man treated her, to just show you need to try a different approach with her. You shouldn't give up on her, but you should try a different approach. The approach that been used day in and day out on this woman is not going to work, because she's desensitized to it. She's prone to it. She's so used to it that now she can't find the love that she deserves, because she feels like all she has to do is fight. And it shouldn't be like that. When you see a black woman being disrespected by a black man, being beaten by a black man, one of you going to step in and speak out and not allow that to happen. Think of everyone who go up in arms when their mother gets disrespected. Every black woman should be in the same category as your mother. If you don't want your mother to be disrespected, you don't want your sisters to be disrespected, you don't want your daughter, if you have, or when you would have a daughter, to be disrespected, it is the same thing. Respect our black women, because they are the pinnacle of the household. They are as important as every other person in anything. A woman in general is, for whatever reason, a handicap, quote unquote. It's all about the intersexuality. It's all about combining the two. So now she's a black, and now she's a woman. And y'all are threatened by that. The black woman is the least paid person in the pot. And that's sad. But the background, she comes up with the greatest ideas. She's running your companies, but she's the lowest paid because she's black and because she's a woman. When we're gonna fight together and stick together and really fight for a cause, because clearly what we've been doing over these years, over these decades, is not working. Thank y'all. This was Kimi. I hope you enjoyed my tea of the day. I hope you enjoyed the blackness of it all. I hope you learned something from these inventors and how much these influential black people shaped our lives today, and how without them we wouldn't be able to talk on the phone. We wouldn't really be able to fully have access to the third rail. Like, a lot of stuff happened. And James Baldwin, with him being so unapologetically black and gay, and showing us, especially me, like, you can still be powerful, you can still be a powerhouse person and be beloved and just be you. Being you is a ticket to everything. It opens up so many doors when you are yourself. You don't copy nothing, you don't belittle yourself, you don't disrespect the importance of you. The sky's the limit. Thank you for listening. I'm out.
Your flag, the United States of America, and to your republic, for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? For you, for some, not for us, not for our people. So please Please stop saying we equal. It's your flag of red, white, and blue. In one hand, you beat us. Until we're black and blue with the other beat us. Until we're none beat us. Until we can't walk straight, then you put us in chains if we lucky. But for the ones of us who are so lucky, you tell us to put our hands up as some type of sick tribute to your privilege, and then you pull the trigger into our bodies, lay down on your ground, pull the trigger until your clip is empty, pull the trigger until we make your evening news, and then when our children cry, we have to look our children in the eyes and tell them that they have to be cautious, that when they walk your streets, they have to do so in fear that they have to spend an entirety of their life looking over their shoulder, because you will hunt them down. Will bury them. Either run a prison system that aims to disenfranchise them or the dirt beneath their feet. This is all because of that same racism that you love to say no longer exists, but we all know that same racism is the reason that when we want to put a hood on, we resist. The reason that when we go to get these jobs, we're dismissed at the door. The reason that when we go to shop, we're watched in your stores. That racism is the reason that us saying your Pledge of Allegiance feels a lot like a root canal or a whip's impact against our flesh.